Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at Composer. This is a platform for building automated trading and investing strategies around stocks, ETFs, and crypto. And what's unique about it is that it offers a generative AI chatbot to help you build these kind of automated strategies so you don't have to do any coding on your own or even use a drag and drop strategy builder if you don't want to. So in this review, I'm going to dive into Composer, show you what this platform is all about and what it can do, and help you decide if it's right for you. So I want to start off by diving right into the platform. So here we're looking at a watch list of automated strategies, which Composer calls symphonies, that I've been looking at. So I'm going to show you this believe in big tech strategy, just to give you an idea of how the platform works. So first, this is a back-tested version of the strategy. This is not actual results, but you can see that Composer is able to generate these backtests extremely quickly, just a few seconds. So we're looking at data from 2022 to 2025. And in blue, we have this believe in big tech strategy. And in pink, we have the S&P 500 index. So you can see that the strategy has generally outperformed since about mid-2023. If we scroll down, we'll see kind of key statistics about this strategy. So an annualized return, maximum drawdown, Sharpe ratio. We can look at how it compares to other indices. And then we can look at the current holdings in the portfolio, as well as all tickers this strategy has ever traded. If we go all the way to the bottom, we can look at the symphony, or again, the kind of structure behind this automated strategy itself. So we can see that Symphony works by specifying assets that you want to invest in, and you can specify what weights to invest in those assets, and sort of conditional if-then statements to determine when to invest in different assets at different weights. So in this case, we're making equal weight of going to be two assets. So we're taking this list that has been created of some of the biggest companies in tech. We're sorting them by their 20-day cumulative return, and then we're going to select the top two to equally weight in this strategy. So as the 20-day cumulative return of these assets is updated, if one becomes better than another and it makes it into the top two, this strategy will conduct a trade and swap out all of the shares of the one stock that was invested in for the one that now has the top two 20-day cumulative return. Give you another example of this with a strategy I created using Composer. So this is a defensive QQQ strategy with an EMA crossover. So basically, I asked Composer's AI to create a strategy that will invest in QQQ most of the time, but if the 50-day moving average drops below the 200 moving day average, then I want to sell it and invest in the S&P 500 index. There's not a lot of, sort of strategy behind this strategy, but I wanted to see if I could just make a strategy quickly. I'll say this took me about 30 seconds to make, which is really cool for a platform like this. Normally, this would take me 10 minutes of kind of dragging and dropping conditionals or coding something up. So that speaks to how easy Composer is to use. As you can see, I didn't put a lot of thought into kind of whether this was a good strategy or not. It's more or less matching the S&P 500. We've got an annualized return again. And if we go down to the bottom, we can look at basically the code behind this strategy. So we have equal weighting if the 50-day exponential moving average of the QQQ price is greater than or equal to the 200-day moving average, then we're investing in QQQ entirely. Otherwise, we're investing in the S&P 500 index entirely. So I wanted to walk you through this just so you can see another example of kind of how this Composer logic works. Now we can dive into the actual drag and drop editor. I find this to be a little bit difficult to use, to be honest. It does take some getting used to. Once you're used to it, it can still be confusing because of the way that Composer kind of does everything by asset weights, rather than, sort of trade-based conditional. So there's never like, if this happens, do this trade. It's more like, if this happens, change the weights of something. That's a trade instruction, but it's not always obvious when you're putting together these strategies how that's going to work. So it does take some getting used to. Within here, you can add assets. You can create groups. It's kind of like watch lists that you can trade as a whole time. Assets can be stocks, ETFs, or cryptocurrencies. You can create different weights. So combining this with if-else conditionals allows you to create some really complex weighting structures. For example, you can have different types of weights based on different conditions. You can create an unlimited number of nested if-else conditions. So it's really easy to make these strategies as complicated as you want. And then finally, there's a filter conditional, which is like what I showed you with that first strategy. Essentially, you can sort stocks within a list based on a variety of different functions. So price, return, moving average, relative strength index, and standard deviations on the price and return. So this is a really nice way if you have a list of stocks to choose, again, either the best performing one or the stock that's going to give you the lowest drawdown or the best return over a certain time scale. While Composer's drag and drop strategy creator can be a little bit confusing and a little bit of a hassle to use, I'm really impressed with the platform's Trade with AI feature. So this is a generative AI chatbot that can actually help you create your own automated strategies. And it does a really great job, as I talked about earlier. I want to use this chatbot to make my own symphony. What I like is that it actually kind of walks you through the process for creating a strategy if you want. So there's a few different strategies that it'll automatically suggest, things based on market timing, volatility, different technical signals, and more. We can make a volatility-based strategy, for example, here, and I'll walk you through how this works. So the AI will actually suggest different assets that you can focus on, as well as help you decide how your strategy should actually work in practice. Okay, so how should our strategy respond to volatility? Well, this is something that I can come up with them on my own, but if I'm a newer trader especially, and I don't have a strategy specifically in mind, this is a really great prompt for making me think about how I want to use this strategy and, maybe playing around with it a little bit, especially if I'm creating a new strategy, using these prompts to kind of guide my thinking. So let's see, I want to switch to bonds and cash during high volatility periods. This is a pretty defensive strategy, we'll say. And great, just like that, the AI has created a strategy for me. It's calling it Tech Volatility Shield. I'm not sure how it comes up with these names, but essentially we have a back test of this strategy going back to 2020, and we can see that it's outperformed the S&P 500 index quite well over that time. It gives you a little bit of a summary about this. And then if you want to kind of start using this strategy or dive into it in more detail, you can add it to your watch list. So we'll go back to our watch list, check out this Tech Volatility Shield strategy. Again, it'll pull up this back test. Interestingly, this is a shorter time span, 2024. It doesn't look nearly as good in this backtest. So again, it's really nice that Composer allows you to backtest things so quickly, especially using different timeframes. But if we go down to the bottom here, we can see what the AI actually created for us. So we have basically a list of a couple tech stocks. We're looking at 90-day cumulative returns, and then we're looking at the standard deviation of that return compared to the S&P 500 standard deviation of return. The standard deviation of return is less than for these tech stocks than the S&P 500. We're going to invest in the TLT ETF. So it's a relatively simple automated strategy, but what's cool is that AI built it for me in under a minute. And then also I can actually dive in and make sure that the AI came up with what I want. So I can actually kind of double check this. It's not a black box. And if I want, it's really easy to go into the drag and drop editor and actually edit this strategy. Again, I don't love the drag and drop editor, but when you're starting out with something like this, it's pretty easy to make changes. It's worth noting that while I use the AI's kind of ideas and prompts to create that strategy, you can also create your own strategy just by talking about what you want. So for example, I'll say create a strategy that invests in Meta if the 30-day return is greater than 10%. Otherwise, invest in Apple. And again, this is not a complex strategy, but what's really cool is that I can write this out. The AI is going to think for 10, 15 seconds, and then it's going to spit out this strategy for me, and it's ready to run. Or I can pop it into the drag and drop editor and customize it more if I want to. Cool. And I'll just add that to my watch list. So that's really the bulk of Composer. There's not a ton to this platform, but it is really powerful. The important thing I would note about Composer is that you can use a lot of these features for free, and I'll talk about pricing in a minute. But Composer works as its own brokerage. You can't connect an external brokerage to run these strategies. If you want to run them, you have to run them through Composer. So it's a really important caveat to this platform. It's a fine brokerage. It doesn't charge commissions on stock and ETFs trades. There's a 0.3% fee on crypto trades, so not terrible. But It's just important to know if you have a brokerage you like, you're not going to be able to use it with these automated strategies. So with that, let's dive into the pricing. So as I said, you can trade stocks, ETFs, cryptos, and options manually without automating your strategies for free using Composer. You can also use the platform for free to create these automated strategies, but that's only so helpful if you can't run them. That said, with the free subscription, you can still invest in automated crypto strategies. There is a 0.3% fee on every crypto trade. These are run through All trades are run through Alpaca and Apex Clearing. I would say this is a very good option if you're interested in building automated crypto trading strategies. It is worth noting is that if you go through a crypto exchange like Coinbase or Kraken, they often have lower spot trading fees, and they also do mostly offer their own tools for algorithmic trading. So it's definitely worth comparing whether this ease of use of Composer is worth it for you compared to the price breaks you're going to get when going through an exchange directly. If you're interested in trading stock or ETF strategies created with Composer, you're going to need this automated trading strategy. It costs $5 per month if you pay monthly, or $4 per month if you pay annually. There's a free 14-day trial here. You can cancel whenever, so that's a really nice aspect of this. You are going to have to open a brokerage account in order to sign up for this plan. Basically, you get everything again that you saw in Composer, but it adds the ability to actually trade those strategies that you've built. Notably, Composer offers individual accounts as well as Roth traditional and rollover IRA accounts. So there is a retirement option here. Beware that there's a $100 closure charge for retirement accounts that doesn't apply to individual brokerage accounts. So definitely dive into kind of the fine print on fees if you're interested in opening a retirement account. Overall, if you've been interested in getting into automated trading or investing or looking at algorithmic trading tools and not really sure where to start, they seem too complicated for you, Composer is not complicated. It's a huge advantage of this platform. It's way easier to use than any other algorithmic trading tools that I've tried. The downside of it to me is that you have to use Composer as your brokerage for stock, ETF, and crypto trades. That does come with some fee drawbacks, as well as just the fact that you can't use a brokerage that you know and trust. I'd love to see Composer open this up to more brokerages, allow integrations with the broker you're already using, but unfortunately their business model is based on being the brokerage for these trades. All that said, I think Composer is a very interesting platform for anyone looking to get into automated trading. It's completely free to sign up and start using the platform to create your own automated strategies, so I definitely recommend signing up, giving it a try, and seeing if it's right for you.